All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to more 1v1 action as we have got more AoE 2 pros playing up against AoE 2 pros. That's right. In the blue corner, we have got Russ being played by Slam. Needs no introduction. We've seen him before on this channel. We've seen how formidable an opponent he can be, and his opponent should be formidable himself. Hasn't earned as much as Slam has in the competitive scene, but still has a few $1,000 to his names. In terms of prize pool earnings, it is, of course, Vodka L on the Mongols. Mongols versus Russ, both sides with some earlier cavalry potential, but let's not be in denial here. Mongols definitely have the potential to rush, and we've even seen on this channel how they can completely annihilate you if they get the TC rush. But that's not happening here. Vodka says, no. If I win, it's not going to be cheese, okay? Or if there is going to be cheese, it's not going to be of the TC variety, okay? They want to get off that notion. They want to get off that cheese before it gets nerfed, because we know it's probably going to be removed, because currently you shouldn't really be getting the movement speed you are on the town center. That being said, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does come out. Maybe we're just going to wait a few seconds to see it, but I really hope not. And with this opening a stable, it suggests that's not what we're going to see, but please tell me we're not going to see we're not going to see the other thing, right? We're not going to see the cursed scouts, right? I get worried. I get worried, folks. When I see a stable being built this early, I get flashbacks to the scout rush. And that weren't pretty, all right? And Russ is a faction that is vulnerable to that. So I am a little bit worried that this is going to go in a dirty way, but we'll have to see. So far in the opening, Slam is already moving out with his scouts, but nice move by Vodka. So he's gathering all the wolves to drag away, making sure that actually Slam doesn't even have a chance to kill him. And this is really effective with the Khan. You can already see what he's doing, right? Because he drive-bys, he's not wasting any time to stop off and slaughter them. He's going to slaughter them on the go, and this is going to be frustrating for Slam. That being said, Slam is at least getting his close-by deers. So he's already hit the tier 1. I expect tier 2 to still be feasible in this type of game. He just needs to be quick to move across the deers. And it looks like, if anything, Vodka hasn't scouted this out yet. Yeah, if you look at Vodka's vision, he only just checked down here. So it's good of him to find the wolves, but this does mean that Slam can now snipe out all the deer. I'm pretty sure with this quantity of deer, if he gets like 60% of these, I think you're Gucci to get the tier 2 bounty lock. Right? So yeah, he just needs to be quick in sniping these out. I haven't noticed if the Khan does more damage with his shots on a deer. I'm not sure. It's only 5 health. It wouldn't matter, because I think you put them down to 2 health with each shot anyway. Yeah. So it really wouldn't make a difference. Khan would always be able to snipe out in the second shot. I think the third, yeah, you can already see. So if he takes the first shot, it takes him 3 total. So this is exploitable. If you're playing as the scout player in this situation, just watch for your opponent to shoot once and then shoot again. The problem is the scout is already being harassed far off this. Did get a few of these, and that will allow him to get the tier 2 unlock on the bounty system. But we're already seeing the harassment out from the horseman. So it's not a scout spam, but it is going to be early horseman coming out for Vodka. This does feel somewhat contradictory, by the way. Anyone else notice that the Russ player is not the one named Vodka? Vodka is fighting back against Russia, which probably for its liver health is good, but something is just so wrong about it. Scout sniped out, and that's going to be a yoink of a sheep as well. Pretty happy if you're Vodka in that situation. Slam. What's the move? Okay, Wooden Fortress. This is good timing as well, so the horsemen won't be able to harass here. They can wrap around super wide, but this wood line is protected. My only concern is this is a baby-sized wood line. This is actually pretty pitiful. Look how small this is. It's sad as well. If you went further north, you would have found a huge one. The problem is then trying to reinforce that eco line and send out new workers, you probably get sniped running between the spawn and the wood line. So it just makes sense to get rid of this wood, first of all. And he is teching up with a golden gate. Okay, this is surprising to me. I actually thought that Slam might go for the Kremlin after he saw the horseman coming out. I don't think he committed to the Golden Gate by that point over at the deer. But now he is committed to this eco, and if Vodka is smart about this and scouts this out, he should know that he has ample aggressive power in the early game that isn't going to be offset by extra static defenses. It's just a case of whether he can reach a critical mass. I genuinely think if he wanted, Slam could just go for the scout spam. If he goes for the scout spam, he'll be able to just raise these buildings before defenses go up. But he hasn't done that. Like, you can actually see, like, Vodka, interested in teching up himself, almost has enough gold. He's going for Iraqs now, so he's going to switch up and diversify his units a bit. And this is a response move, now seeing that his opponent is teched up, because there is now the possibility that Slam goes for an early night rush. Because remember, once you reach Tech 2, the Russians are one of the factions that get access to their knights. still trying to harass it. Almost gets one of the early horsemen. Not enough arrows, though. And of course, he can't. Well, actually, he could get the arrow slits. Yeah, so it looks like Slam has bought one load. He's doing the thing we talk about that you should be doing a lot of time when you're playing Russ. The opening is actually fantastic with Golden Gate. What you do is you get a decent amount of gold from just hunting, right? You have surplus left over when you tech up. And then you save up 400 wood, you get 2 charges of supplies, you buy 300 stone for 200 gold, and then you get a second TC in the blink of an eye. And you can build it on this tree line next to this gold vein. It's perfectly placed if he does this. I really like this move from Slam. This is a perfect opening. Meanwhile, Vodka trying to eco up a little bit. He is now starting to tech up with the deer stones, but he hasn't really put any ample aggression out. He's going to try and fix that with spears now. And the horsemen are a little bit frustrating here. That's a lot of Illies exposed. He actually cancels the structure for the moment. Khan doesn't do too much damage, so you don't really care about him. It's a light Khan, right? He hasn't reached Tech 2. He hasn't got Hardened Khan or anything. It's 2 damage per shot. And also, these horsemen, one of them's so injured he can't really dive anymore. So, if he does come near this, he could get sniped. Let's have a look. Oh, it's attacking the other one. Yeah, but he's actually just backing off. There's just too many villagers. If he gets stuck there, he's going to lose both of his horsemen for nothing. And there's the second TC. And here's the thing. This is more of a distraction now. Slam, this is a little bit annoying, but this means that it's not being scouted out. Vodka doesn't know that this is going up. He's now maybe going to spot it with the Khan, but by the time he does, it's going to be too late to interrupt it, which means you have a second TC to defend the north, and you're also going to eco boom compared to the Mongol player. Really, really good opening from Slam. Yeah, it gets scouted out now, but too little, too late. TC's about to be complete. Tech up finally done for Vodka, but now he knows he's behind. So he needs to get some sort of harassment line in, or maybe he's got a plan that involves ecoing up. I just don't think you're going to eco better than double TC at this stage from a Rust player. I think the Rust player now has the edge. So expect some sort of aggressive move out of Vodka soon. Especially when you look at Vodka's wood, by the way. That's the other thing to highlight here. If he wants to go for a 2 TC boom himself, it's 900 wood. He's getting nowhere near enough wood. In fact, if you look at the gathering, it's a small pins of people on wood compared to the food. So, to me, this signals that Vodka is looking for premium timing in the H2 to go aggressive. He's not looking to just play static into a later age. And that's why I'm expecting Magadai to start coming out soon. But the fact he hasn't even built into the appropriate building to get Magadai has me a little bit worried about what Vodka's plan is for this. And yeah, Slam just getting more workers out. Actually send them all the way over there. So he did have a gold vein here, but keep in mind that this is exposed. It's not protected at all, which is why he's not utilizing it. He could just stick people who are created here onto the wood line, but the wood line is pretty ample right now. 10 people working wood. Yeah, you're pretty juicy on that front. And you can already see he's putting that wood to work now. So he's going to start building into these stables. And then it's all about food and gold production. So he can go for 2 free stables, and then you go for a night rush. And remember, static defense-wise, it's a little bit rough for Vodka because they can't wall off, and they're relying on outposts entirely to defend themselves. Oh, Scout. Just snipe the horseman. Just snipe. Oh my god, he keeps microing it too much. So he's too regularly pulling it back. And remember, Scouts have a very slow attack animation. So he's not getting that final strikeout. Genuinely, if you ever watch a Scout commit to their attack, it's honestly like watching an old man try and wield a 20-kilo sword. It's slow, it's pathetic, it's kind of borderline depressing. Blacksmith going down. Yeah, so this should be, I'd expect, this is a reactionary play just in case Magadai comes, so then he'll be able to get the range resistance. Otherwise, maybe you just save the gold and get an extra knight. You could go straight into the melee tech, but I think he just wants to commit heavily to knights, and then he's basically got the blacksmith ready to research into the undermesh if he needs it against range attacks. Ooh, nice hits out from the TC. So they snipe one horseman, and now this scout can easily kill off the horseman if he gets back into combat with him. And remember, the actually hilarious thing in this game is scouts heal. Notice this over time. It's something people always kind of underrate. Scouts gradually heal. That horseman gets sniped so casually. But that's the difference. Compare that to like the horseman. If you're training with scouts in a reasonable way, it's actually not that bad because any damage done can just be offset. This is your light cavalry version of the French knight, ladies and gentlemen. The scout. And that's why the scout zerging is effective, by the way. That's why I would have loved to have seen Vodka do it in this type of game. It would have counted out everything that Slam would have wanted to do. Because Rust players do traditionally go greedy and just try to tech too quickly without even having any military presence early. Like most factions do right now. He's riding across. Khan's trying to keep an eye on it, but there's multiple knights coming. He has got spearmen, so he kind of read this and did adjust accordingly. This will be a bit frustrating, but there's a lot of open ground you can potentially move around. Although running a knight through like that is not a good idea. Oh, you turned it around. So even more damage just being thrown into him for no gains. It's going to reach the Villi line now. He just needs to be careful not to get trapped if he does charge this. It's really not worth doing it with one knight, by the way, but he has got more coming. Of course, this Khan is slightly frustrating. It's not that much damage, I say, as he hits for 12 and gradually over time kills these knights. And there's no way you can catch him either, remember. The Khan is way too fast. 1.87 compared to the... Well, 1.94 when charging, but when you're not charging, it's 1.62. Nice turnaround on the spears, by the way. Remember, when outnumbered, these spearmen will get melted by the early knights. And these spearmen, like, look at them. They haven't been upgraded yet. He hasn't actually gone for the tech up, so these aren't even hardened spearmen right now. However, with quantity comes quality, as he takes out one of the knights. All the while, though, second TC hasn't gone down. He did get the quick tech up. We should have mentioned this, actually. He went straight into tech 3, and now he can eco boom past Slam. Slam needs to catch up, and he needs to do it fast, or get some serious harassment, because his commitment is basically the difference between tech up and no tech up, right? He committed, what, 6 knights? So that's 600 gold, 800 food. That basically would have been his tech up in this situation. And that means he's behind, and especially against the step redoubt that you almost always see these Mongol players get, you can have no doubt of, you're going to be behind. The 50% extra drop-off is brutal to deal with. And yeah, hardened spearman now, so tough for him to trade. And in fact, he could just tech them up again. He could turn them into vet spearmen if he wants to go for that. I wouldn't be against it. It would completely and utterly counter everything that Slam's doing. But then again, so does this. Like, just running out Lancers, which are going to trade better than early Knights anyway. Remember, these early Knights aren't in their normal knightly form. So while Knights themselves would usually counter Lancers, the reason they do, or not counter them, but equal them out, the reason they do so is because they come out in the third age. So really worrying just how much Slam is behind. And these Spearmen completely nullifying what he can do. It's really shocking how far he is behind equal-wise compared to where he was and how ahead he was when he got that second TC down. But you can see he's suffering. And already switching over to the food, not really having an alternative option. I'm getting a wee little bit worried about how he's going to do this now. So sniping out occasional spearmen. But Lancers, remember, Lancers plus the spears, and any damage done here is permanent. He has no way to even heal them up, even if he had a priest, because he doesn't have tech free, so he can't get priests. And the Baron Rams are going up. So Vodka understands his situation perfectly. He understands that there's really no melee force. Slam has a small contingent of knights, and he's either doubling down on knights in the second age or he's looking for a tech up. Either way, Vodka doesn't want to wait around to find out. He wants to push his advantage. And with this leverage, he could do some serious damage to the economy of Slam. And he did go in for the... Wow, okay, he went for steeled arrows. So he got ranged, but he hasn't switched into range. This is strictly for the defenses. To get extra arrow attacks by the looks of it. However, when he sees Baron Rams, he's got to be feeling a bit frustrated that he went for this. Lance is charging in. There is not enough knights here. These spearmen will just completely eviscerate them. He started to switch into the archers now, but it's a small quantity at this point, and the lancers can chase through and get right on top of them. More knights coming in to reinforce. Baron Rams are being burnt down by the Villies. So the full distraction works. He engages both military on military. That means the Villies can get rid of the Baron Rams. And more of these lancers are starting to flood in one by one from Vodka. Doesn't really have the eco to sustain them. He's low on food right now. He's just trying to snipe out as much eco as possible. The Knights will clean up Khan's forces. So Mongol's going to be forced out of the base. Baron Khan will at least escape. But he made a big mistake. A critical error engaging underneath this wooden fortress without a sizable quantity of spears to back him. And with the archer switchover already starting to come out from Slam, he's starting to equalize this game a little bit. The eco advantage is still clearly there from Vodka, of course. And the thing you have to consider is Vodka did get the tech up first. Slam is still stuck in the second age. And with that heavy commitment into knights and into archers, you have to know that his food isn't a quantifiable mass that he'd be able to tech up anyway. And charge out. This is a weird burn, actually. Slam, what? I think he got caught not looking again. He gets some of them out, but the damage done to these knights is basically his whole knight line gone. He's going to continue to recruit them, so he's definitely not taking up anytime soon. And remember, he's starting to have exposed economy. So he's not actually trekking up towards Tech 3. He's moving his economy further out from safety. And he's burning his armies at an equal pace, sometimes a worse pace, in fact, compared to Vodka, who still has this clump of spears. That being said, Vodka still hasn't addressed the archers just yet. He's getting occasional answers, but his situation right now seems like he's just trying to buy time for a tech up, maybe. He needs to get more people on food, but gold-wise, he's almost at a point where he could tech up. So interesting to see what he's going to do next in terms of kind of switch up. If he's going to add more villies into the food, for example, whether he's thinking of maybe like booming a TC. Because remember, this is all one TC still. This is why it's a really good play from Vodka, what he done with this early aggression. Like, he identified immediately as soon as Slam had done the deed, right? Once he'd gone for the second TC, he could have the military presence much quicker despite the tech up differences. That's why the pressure's been on Slam. So Slam at this point is in a turtle state. He needs to try and buy enough time to get his tech up. And then when he does, them on equal footing, if he repels the attacks, when you consider how many of Vodka's resources have been invested into renewing the Spearman armies, the Lancers, whatever, it can get scary. The scarier part for me is the fact that Vodka is saving up his food and gold. So if he wants, he could put himself in a scenario where he techs up into Imp Age as soon as Slam hits Castle. But this is like theory crafting. This is a few minutes down the line. For the moment, there is still commitment to these Knights, and these Knights are starting to trade very badly against these Vet Spearmen. Like, just this small group alone is actually causing issues. And on a micro level, we might even see some interesting engagements. I think there's ways that you can cycle charge into Villi lines and get out before threats come your way. There's also, on Vodka's side, remember the Spearman, one of the kind of hidden mechanics people don't often notice is bracing. So if you have your units just stop on the spot just before an engagement, they will stick their spears down. If they stick their spears down, they both stun and root their opponents who are on horseback. And it will also nullify the charge attack, which, remember, Knights get additional damage on their first hit with the Lance. So that could be a big deal, but I don't think that small detail is going to matter at this rate when you consider the army is starting to amass for Vodka. So he stops any harassment onto his eco, and then he full commits into the Lancers. I love this. He could have went for the greedy play, but you have to identify with the amount of wasted time that Slam has, even if he rebuilds these early Knights, it's him not teching up. So you'll always maintain this tech advantage. So you might as well keep him in the second age while you maintain that research advantage and have these Lancers that are trading favorably against the early Knights. And with this many Lancers as well, keep in mind, like, with the damage already done to half of these Knights are going to melt very quickly, and that's going to expose your entire archer line. And this many Lancers could actually just rip you apart if you're not careful. Charge in. They might cycle their initial hits. They do back away just before they make main contact with the early Knights. But didn't really snipe anything significant here. In fact, I don't think they got one of the archers. No, instead there's just a rebuild going on of more archers coming out. Slam, he's trading. Yeah, so I believe he traded a bunch of wood and gold was the shift around to get that balance. So he's going to be able to keep up production of the archers. If he reaches mass clump, even these lancers, unless you just span them out with every piece of resource you have, you'll reach a point where they won't even be good enough. And my concern is he's renewing the knight line. Before, half of his knights were injured. Now look at it. It's more like a third. So this is worrying. I feel like Vodka does, even though he has tech advantage, have to make a move soon. Archers charged in on. Turn around from the knights. They have to back away from the spears, though. And they're playing into the static defenses of Slam again, so in they come. Knights still fully retreating. Archers will turn around for a few hits here and there. And the battering rams are being threatened by the Villies. This is the worrying issue. Vodka had this issue last time, where all of his military got engaged, and the civvies came in to burn the battering rams. We'll see if that happens again. As the archers are protected. Knights giving their life. Remember, there are outposts being garrisoned by civvies as well as the town center, so there will be a lot of damage done to Vodka here. And he's trying to get his troops moving quicker. They're turning around to deal with the Villies now. There's no room for them to garrison here. A few Knights to protect those villages as they try to spam out into the battering rams. And look at this, the Lancers, they go deeper, straight into the archer line. The Spears are trying to seclude and cut off all the Knights from re-engaging. And I think the damage is done here. The archer army is all but spent. There's just too much armor on these forces from Vodka. And this might just be game for Slam. He hasn't got rid of the battering rams this time. He gets rid of one, but with the renewed Lancers income, and this should be enough to just seal the deal. I don't think Slam's going to hang around anymore. He has to identify when you're beat, you're beat. And with two battering rams knocking on your second TC and the rest of your eco easily exposed with no defenses, that's going to be him calling game.